all they're asking us basically in this example, ladies and gentlemen, is they give us a set of volume. And if you guys think of like volume, you're basically multiplying length times width times height. So in your answers, they give you 3 kind of expressions to multiply to give you the volume. So a couple things we could do with that is what I would recommend is to take all 3 of those and multiply them. Or what we can also do is go ahead and take a look at this and see, well, how could I break this down by factoring? Well, the first thing we can do is factor out our common terms, which our common term in here would be a 3x. When I factor out a 3x, I'm left with a 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. OK? And then, so you guys can see that 3x was one of those factors of the answers, right? Yeah. 3x was one of the factors. Now, I just need to continue to factor this. And if you guys remember how we learned how to do this, was you do 8 times c, 2 times 5, which would be 10, and then negative 11. And we need to determine what 2 numbers multiply to give us 10, add to give us negative 11. How about negative 10 and negative 1? Do those 2 multiply to give you positive 10, but then add to give you negative 11? Yeah. Yes. So then there's a couple different ways we talked about how to do this. One of the ways to do that, though, was to break up negative 11x as negative 10 and negative 1. So I can rewrite this as 2x squared minus 10x minus x plus 5. So what I did was I took the negative 10 and the negative 1, and I rewrote those. I basically rewrote the middle term as negative 10x and negative 1x. All right? And the reason why I do that is because now I can further factor that by using what we call grouping. What you do with grouping is you group the first 2 terms, and you group the last 2 terms, and you just factor out what they have in common. So the 3x still is here. Now, what is 2x squared and negative 10x? What do they have in common? What can I factor out? 2x. You can factor out a 2x. So when you factor out a 2x, you're left with an x minus 5. Would everybody agree with me? Yes? And then between a negative x and plus 5, I want that to look like this. So therefore, I'm going to have to factor out a negative 1. And when I factor out a negative 1, I'm left with an x minus 5. Now, do you guys see what's in the green parentheses? Do you guys see how those are exactly the same? You guys see that? So I can factor both of those out. And what I'm left with is a 3x times x minus 5. And then what's left over is 2x minus 1. And is that one of the answers that you guys have?
Yeah.
I understand how you got that to that.
What?
The very last step there.
Here? Yeah. Basically what I said is these 2, this see, thing is you guys see is these 2 are separated by multiplication. These 2 are separated by multiplication. They both share the parentheses x minus 5.
So how can you just take it out?
How can you take out a 2x? You took out a 2x out of this and out of this.
No, I understand how you got to there, but how did you take that and turn it into the very last thing?
Because all I did was this expression and this expression both share an x minus 5. Just like this and this both share a 2x. So if you take out the x minus 5, you're just left with a 2x and a negative 1.
Thank you.
Make sense? Okay. It's different, though, because it's expressions and not